belongs to the set?
No, the first of E doesn't have
The first
epsilon.
of it, right? Okay.
It can follow by the end of line,
So
but it cannot start with the end of line.
okay. But if it doesn't start with end of line, how do you do empty character, or how do you do an empty sentence? Is it
The empty
epsilon
sentence
end of
is
line?
not part of the grammar.
Oh,
Like, sorry, the empty string is not part of the
is that
grammar.
would that throw an error if this were a real?
Yeah,
language?
yeah. If you just pass nothing and then you let it parse, it'll throw
I
error.
feel like no.
Right. Because
Okay.
it'll go E, O, and then already dollar, and then it's no. Right. But E prime can though, because E prime, you see, E prime can. So now we're doing the next rule, which is E prime goes to empty string, right? And that you need to do this if. So if it happens that the body can derive the empty string, then what you have to add is the follow of A. You have to add A and all the follow of A. So you have to add the rule to A and the follow of A. So the follow of E prime is nothing, and therefore you don't need to do anything for this one. I thought this was wrong. Oh, what happened to these things? Oh yeah, we missed it altogether, didn't we? So going back to the follow algorithm. If it so happens that the tail portion can be the empty string, then you have to add the follow of the head to the symbol, right? And because for this one, the tail of E prime is the empty string, therefore you have to add, for this one, you have to add what can follow E to the follow of E prime. So you have to add these two to that. And then same with this one. You have to add the follow of T to the follow of T prime. And then it's okay. Right. So now, calculating the parse table, going to this one. So E prime can produce the empty string. So because the body is the empty string, therefore of course empty belongs to the first of that set, then you have to add this rule to A and all the follow elements. So you have to add the rule of E can produce epsilon to E prime and all the follow elements. So that would be dollar, that would be epsilon, as well as the close brackets. Going to the next production rule, T and F and T prime. So one can use F and T prime. It's the first of F, open bracket and ID. So ID you use F and T prime, then open bracket you use F and T prime. And this can never be the empty string, so you don't have to worry about the second one. Going on to here, when do you use star F T prime or T prime? It's obviously you star, so star. Now going to here, when do you use the epsilon? You would need to use a follow set. So the follow of T prime is these three things. So for all these three things, this would be the epsilon. And then finally F, okay? So when would you use open bracket, E, close bracket? That's when you encounter open bracket. And when do you use ID? That's when you see ID. And you don't need to worry about the follow set for that.
bracket and ID. So wouldn't you use
So
the first for F is open bracket and ID. So
Yeah.
wouldn't bracket E, why doesn't bracket E bracket go under ID? Maybe.
no, if you you're trying to expand F
Right,
and you see an ID,
right,
you can't expand it to this, right?
right.
Because if you expand to this, then you're basically saying the next symbol I must see is an open bracket.
Oh,
But you already know the
Makes
next
sense.
symbol is ID.
okay.
Yeah.
For the T is F T prime, right? The third one, the third expression, T is F T prime. Having F. T
Sorry,
prime.
yeah.
Yeah, the on top, the
Right.
one on the top.
Oh,
Yes, for that one.
okay.
In the table, if you see, since it's the ID is F T prime, how did you get to the bracket F T prime as well?
You have to.
First
Open
off,
bracket.
look at the first off table.
First,
Yeah, because this one has
First of
ID
F,
and
no, the
sorry,
first of F.
the first of F
Is open bracket.
is open bracket and ID. So when do you use this, right? When you're trying to expand T, you're committed to expand T, you're committed to produce a T. When would you use this rule? It's when you see a open bracket or when you see an ID. Right? Okay, so next week we'll start with bottom-up parsing and another family of languages contrast to LL1 is called LR1, and it's a more powerful parser. So download the slides. I think I made a mistake somewhere, right? Was a
So,
yeah. So I'm going to post the